This episode of the Submerged podcast is brought to you by Monsoon Aquatics.
Hey everyone, we're back again for another episode of the Submerged podcast. Deep dives and Aussie vibes. I'm here with both Sam Parker and Sam Philp. How are we, fellas?
Yeah,
Very good, thank you. S1 and S2.
B1 and B2.
Yes. Like bananas in pajamas, yeah, exactly.
Don't ever call us that, please.
I don't know, I don't mind it.
All right, we'll go with that then.
No personal preference. You just call me a banana. I won't
You can be B1.
I'm going to say the most important questions. Who's B1, who's B2?
Yeah, this is important.
Well, OG would have to be B1, so that's Sam Parker. That's not me.
Well, yeah. I'll very humbly take that. That's nice.
So episode 25.
25, quarter century.
Yeah, we're up. I can't believe we're here already. We started in April last year, so we're not even done 1 year worth of episodes yet. So yeah, pretty special to already be up to 25 and still have people listening. So
Very impressive, yeah.
Yeah. Sam Philp, I believe once again you've got some questions to grill us with.
Some more of our
Some trivia questions.
Monsoon Aquatics questions. And I got some true false again this time around. So I think these were good last episode. I feel like,
Oh, I loved them.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah, you loved them. Yeah. I love the fact that I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right, and I still only got 50% of them right. But that's okay.
Good odds, though. That's statistics, right? All right.
Yeah. Before we go too far, though, a massive shout out again to Monsoon Aquatics for sponsoring the
100%.
entire season. Not only do they, they've lent us their knowledge for questions. They've given us these trivia questions, but whoever skips the little intro that we do that with Sam's dulcet tones lets you know that Monsoon Aquatics have come on to sponsor the entire season, which is helped us out heaps. So
Definitely.
massive shout out to them, and thank you for the trivia questions.
Thanks, guys. All right, let's start off with the first one. Nice quick one here. So Monsoon began their coral farm tours in 2025. True or false?
Oh.
I'll say false.
You're going to say false. I reckon it would have been close to early 2025. So, yeah, all right, I'll go true to keep things interesting.
Should have kept it, Sam.
Oh, no. Was it 2024
It was 2024,
they started?
yeah, exactly right. 1 year off, unlucky.
Yeah,
So, that's false. They started in 2024. Okay.
Do we know what month in 2024? I reckon it would have been very close to the start of 2025. But maybe not.
I guess maybe ramping up for summer. Not sure what it's like. But yeah.
True.
Okay.
I just feel like it's been longer. That's all I had.
Okay. All right. Monsoon hold licenses that allows them to collect in Queensland, Northern Territory, and Western Australian waters, an area the size of over 1,000 Sydney harbours. This is true or false, this comment?
I think that's true.
Yeah, I'll go true as well.
Go true. Unfortunately, that is false.
Oh.
So the total area...
How can I get two 50-50 ones wrong?
The total area they hold licenses for collection is actually not 1,000 Sydney harbours. It's 26,000 Sydney harbours.
You said at least 1,000 Sydney harbours. Yeah.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
That's why I was like, it'll be easily be more than that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah.
Boycott.
Throw your hands in the air.
I've been set up here.
Okay. Well, then, yes, you are. Both correct. I guess the stipulation is that it's not just 1,000. We're talking 26,000 Sydney harbours.
Considerably more, yeah. Insane. I mean, Sydney Harbour's big, but it's compared to the size of like the Great Barrier Reef and some of these other areas they collect from, it's
Exactly.
It's
And the
not that
reef
big.
is so big, like top to bottom. So I guess that explains
Massive.
it. And I don't know the size of Sydney
Yeah.
Harbour, but it's, I don't know, what do you reckon, 50 square kilometres?
It's about 1/26,000th of a few different reefs combined, I think.
Okay, let's go with that. Sounds good.
Where'd you get that from?
Fact check.
Well, you said 26,000 times the Sydney Harbour, not the Sydney Harbour Bridge,
Yeah,
the Sydney
so one.
Harbour. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's about 1/26,000th of a few reefs
Yeah, that's
combined.
true. Yeah, good stat. That's a good stat. Okay, well, I'll give those points to you both, then I'll let you have that one because, yeah, I did.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I
So
did word it
generous.
wrong.
So generous.
Also, when am I going to win some points here? I'm probably lacking.
Well, when you start getting the questions right, that's when you.
Also, I want to know when you're at school on your test forms, are you this loose with your questions as well? Like, do people get 99% in all their
To
tests?
tell you the truth, yeah. No. I think the questions on paper, I feel, are written correctly, and then I just kind of take it and just make them wrong. So let's see if I get number 3 or 4 right. Okay. I'm going to be very careful with my words. Monsoon Aquatics collected a flamboyant cuttlefish in 2025. True or false?
True.
Yeah, I think they did too. Yeah, I'm going to
Went
go
to
true.
Hurstville Aquarium.
Yes, it did.
Damn, for the bonus point.
Bonus half point, maybe. Yes, you are correct. It is true. So the flamboyant cuttlefish was collected.
Yes, I remember seeing the footage. It was very flamboyant.
They don't live long.
I was there. I was there the day that they got it.
Oh,
That's
yeah. You were quick with
Yeah.
that, true. So I guess that's, yeah. But no, apparently they don't live long. So I'd be pretty certain to say that it's probably no longer with us. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That short of a lifespan.
Yeah, talking to like.
Yeah, I don't think they have it anymore. Whether they sold it or it died, I'm not sure.
I think a lot of them are
Mm.
collected fully grown, so they probably don't have much more than 6 months or a year or something left. So,
tell you what, it was cool though. It was so cool. A couple of weeks after they got it, they threw some shrimp in there for it to hunt.
Oh, yeah.
It's special.
Yeah,
it's cool.
it's- it's cool watching them hunt. Hey, yeah, very specific tank for it. Okay, last off the ranks. Monsoon Aquatics' first facility was in Cairns. True or false?
I feel like this is a trick question. I'm going to say false. Well, it depends on what you mean by facility. I'll stick with false.
I didn't change the wording of this question at all, so there's no. What do you reckon, Jade?
I don't know what makes me think that their first one was actually in Darwin. I don't know why.
Oh.
But just to go against Sam and have a crack at clean sweep.
Yeah.
I'll go true. Did you say false?
I said false, yeah.
I'll go true.
You should have stayed with it. It's actually false, and you're exactly right. It was in Darwin.
Oh. Wow. I got one by default.
Right.
You can't just say it.
You didn't trust yourself.
Are you the student on your paper that says you circled D and they go, no, it's B, sir. I said it was B, didn't I?
No, I'm the student that changes your D grading to look like an A+.
Oh, yeah.
And my parents, and they go, geez, you did well in that science crappy lesson that you hate. How did you do this?
Until the report comes home and
you're
it's
damn good
a
at art.
proper D.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, guys. You did fairly well.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that's the 4 of them. 4 true, false.
Very nice. I learnt some more about Monsoon Aquatics, our wonderful sponsor. So always good trivia.
And Matt Bates, we want a tally.
Yeah, there's going to be quarter points, 3/4 points.
I'm pretty sure there's no need for a count back. I'm pretty confident I'm down.
All I know is that Sam Philp is coming last because he has.
In saying that,
well,
I got the questions right when Matt Bates was on, didn't I? So I've got some points on the board.
Did, but
yeah.
We might be almost level then.
Brilliant.
All right, yeah. So like I touched on at the beginning of the episode, we're talking about tech today. And when we talk about tech, people automatically gravitate towards your Neptune Apex and GHL and all these weird and wonderful, crazy
expensive
apparatuses that will very expensive, very controversial to some extent. But there's a lot of tech that we don't technically all think that it is part of the tech, but it really is. Like anything that is going to take away from that manual side of testing, automation, all of that kind of thing. It's tech. So we're going to talk about
That's
all of
right.
it today, and people who are sitting on the fence and thinking whether, oh, do I buy this? Do I hold out? What's the right thing for me? Maybe this might be the episode for you to kind of pull the trigger on something, or decide that I'll wait for something better to come out. So
Yeah. Maybe solidify if it's not for you.
yeah, and at the end of the episode, we'll probably go over where tech is needed and where it's not needed, and that'll be for our applications. But yeah, it will probably definitely kind of help people make their decisions on whether they want it or
Yeah.
not. Um, but so we'll start fairly simple when it comes to tech, and that's just stuff that but they're just smart products. When I say smart, they don't necessarily have to have apps, or they don't have to be
No, no.
linked to a cloud or anything like that. But there's plenty of products out there. Um,
Mate, the humble magnet cleaner is a very early bit of tech.
it is. It really is.
When the person that first saw a magnet cleaner would have been like, "This is black magic. This is
I
ridiculous."
guess any technology that replaces like an ocean process is like it's technology, any piece of equipment, right? So
For sure.
a simple algae scraper replacing, the function that a cleanup crew does, or something along those lines, or waves, pumps, and all the rest of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
So these first few that I've got under this smart products category are things that we really take for granted. First one is one that we don't even really think too much about, and that's your ATO.
Definitely.
Auto top. So there is still very old school methods of auto top up where it's just gravity fed. A lot of Cades have this inbuilt. There's no pumps needed or anything like that. Great idea. If you can have it work with your tank. But majority of the people are using some kind of product that tops their water up.
Yeah, some sort of electronic device these days. Gravity works well, but does give you some limitations about having to have that
Above,
reservoir
yeah.
above above the sump at least. And you do, I mean, every bit of tech, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but every bit of tech, regardless of how electronic or how mechanical it is, has the possibility of failing or not operating as intended. And people often say gravity never fails, but sometimes float valves and
Can
things can fail.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not completely bulletproof, but even something as simple as an ATO has seen some various iterations of
I've
tech.
had a couple fail on me actually. Not naming brands,
Yeah,
but I've had
yep.
them where they've just dumped the full amount. The sensor's been blocked or hasn't been cleaned, and it's just dumped all of my
Yeah.
ATO reservoir, which luckily for me, it's only small. But I can see how that could
Yes.
cause significant issues. But
Yeah, I had one probably a couple of months ago, January I think it was, where I dumped 80 liters of RO into my tank and out of my tank because the sump overflowed, and that was just because it's just got one of those little float valves.
Yep.
Not a float valve, sorry, the float sensor.
Yep.
And just a little bit of grit kind of got caught in that and just
held it down. Yeah.
held it down, kept it open. So it just kept pumping water in. And I guess the way that I've got my ATO set up is probably against what people recommend. And I've got my RODI just pumping water in
straight
directly
in the tank.
So I don't have an actual reservoir.
Limitless.
Yeah, so it's limitless supply. So if you were smart about how you do it, like you'd probably have maybe a 50-liter reservoir, and if you deplete that, then that's it. You probably burn a pump out, but you're not going to flood. Well, you might not flood. You tip under him like I did, but
Yeah.
Keeps
Check
things
those
fun.
float valves and sensors. Keep them clean. It's definitely,
It should be
yeah,
part of your
100%.
maintenance, really.
It should be.
Something that's
Yeah, yeah.
overlooked.
This is a fun one for you. Despite my love of technology, particularly in the reefing space, I've not actually had an ATO in my tank for about 3 years now.
Yeah, because you pump in straight like from your kalkwasser, right?
Kalkwasser, yeah. So I've got
Yeah.
a constant drip of kalkwasser, and I find the evaporation of my tank's pretty consistent.
Mm.
So I kind of just tell it how much I want it to pump throughout the day, and maybe as you go through seasonal changes, that'll change a little bit. But yeah, I actually don't have an ATO. I just
So do
rely
you
on constant evaporation and constant replenishment of calc.
so do you have something that tops up your calc reactor?
Yes, my calc reactor is fed from similar to yours, a limitless supply. I've got a 220 litre drum of RO in my back shed that is automated to turn on when it's empty.
Yep.
So by result, it's a limitless supply. But yeah, the kalkwasser only drips basically a drip every 2 seconds. And I've dialed that in over a couple of months of experimentation to get it to the point where I've got it that keeps the level right. And yeah, I've not had an ATO on the tank for a number of years. So it often makes me laugh when people talk of, that I've got every reef gadget under the sun. I don't even have an ATO. I'm
Yeah.
back in the
It was
Stone
probably
Age,
one
mate.
of the
Your
last things I'd put on.
your fail state there is your doser, realistically. So because you're drawing water from a limitless supply, but
Yes.
it can only pump as fast as that doser.
Yeah, I mean, you run a risk. I guess the doser could go rogue and go
Yeah.
from 5 mil a
Yeah.
minute or whatever it's set to 500 mil a minute and cause some sort of trouble.
It's like,
But everything has a risk.
modified ATO kind of going through your cap. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think something like an
Yeah.
ATO for me is probably like, I don't have much tech on my tanks at all, but the ATO is something that I've always had on my tanks since I first put them in. And I've always had the ones with the electric sensors. And I've had a couple of
Yes.
issues over the years, but overall, the amount of time it saves lugging in buckets of RO water, putting it in your tank or things like that,
For
it's worth
sure.
its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Especially because it keeps you, like we talked about in the last episode about stability. I think an ATO just keeps things so stable. Obviously, salinity being the main one. If you can keep that, smack bang on what you want, you can keep feeding it.
Goes a long way.
Because you hear so many of those reefers that start topping up with salt water, and then and the end result isn't so good because your salinity just creeps.
Yeah, it happens. You'd be surprised how often it happens. There's been a lot of people that have come into the store and gone, I don't know why my salinity's creeping up. And you kind of figure out that they're continuously dosing salt water in from their ATO.
Salt doesn't evaporate, guys.
That'll do it.
Just a science thing there. Water does.
That's right.
ATO, I think that's one of them no-brainer things, unless you've got like the CADE system where it's gravity fed. I couldn't say that there is many people getting a jug of water out every day and topping up each night.
You'd be surprised. There's still a few out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. It surprises me. I'm in the category like you, despite not using an ATO myself. I kind of indirectly do. I view ATOs as something that's like, as you say, it's almost a no-brainer. It's not considered a luxury or an optional extra. It's kind of considered a staple, almost as big of a deal as a skimmer.
Yeah.
But I am often humbled by the number of people that don't. They just, particularly on some of the smaller tanks, that just top it up.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at it, top it up. Yeah.
It's definitely manageable. Like I think losing a litre of water, that you get you probably have a bucket of RO lying around. You could quickly top that off. But
but then you think of like the percentage swing on a small tank when you tip a litre of RO in, like it'd be a big swing. But not necessarily saying it's a good way to go with no ATO, but I am often surprised at the number of people that consider one as their first ATO. And I'm like, oh, wow, I thought, your tank's 4 years old. I thought you were an ATO about, 3.9 years ago.
There's some cool products out there now. Like you don't have to have like these electronic ones. I've seen ones where I think someone's 3D printed a little mechanism that you can kind of screw onto the end
Oh,
of a Coke
yeah.
bottle, and
Oh, yeah,
Coke
yeah.
bottle upside down, and it kind
Yep,
of
yep.
will drip in once it goes past a certain point for like
Yeah,
those
it's
nano tanks.
another
Excellent
variation of
idea.
gravity
Yeah.
feed. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
mostly
Yeah.
used on like all-in-one tanks, so like small nanos that obviously have circulating within. Because I think it wouldn't work so well, I guess, on a larger system. Imagine putting like a
Well,
50-liter bottle on
One of
it.
those good visions of those water cooler bottles.
an IBC tipped upside down.
Get some gains, lift it
Yeah,
up.
that'd
Yeah.
make the tank look great, wouldn't it? An IBC tank just sitting out in the
Oh,
back. Yeah, how good.
beautiful.
Put an IBC up in your attic and just gravity feed from that. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
why not? Sounds like a good time.
Do not do
Seems like
that.
a recipe for disaster. I think we need to be more clear with like sarcasm warnings or something.
Yes, we do. We spoke about doses just before with your
Mm.
doser that's doing pumping calc.
Yes,
So doses fall into this category of smart
Smart tech, yeah.
tech products.
absolutely
Um,
does. I
there
love
would have
them.
been a point, probably a long time ago now, where people were just tipping stuff in. They were getting the measuring jug out and tipping a little bit
100%
in.
they were.
I
Yeah,
think to a point, I think a lot of nano tanks still go this way, that they're pouring in so little that it would be pointless to have a
Yeah,
doser.
dosing by
Yep.
hand by
But
a little pipette.
if you've got a tank 2 foot or larger, I would say that you probably got a doser on it, and they are a godsend, those things.
absolutely. And doses come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes these
Yeah,
days, and the use cases are near on endless, particularly when you get some of those continuous duty peristaltic pumps that can be used for automatic water changes. They can be used to set up to empty your skimmer. They can be used to pump kalkwasser. They can be used to feed calcium reactors. There's obviously to dose supplements as well, but there's a
mm,
whole heap of use cases now, or even to daisy chain one tank to another tank. If you want to move 20 liters between tanks, two
Mm.
continuous duty dosing pumps will shift
yeah.
water back and forth. It's been a lot of movement in the dosing pump range, I think, in the last number of years, and yeah, there's equally been a lot of change in the use cases for them.
Well, to the point now, I believe very soon we're going to see Focustronic's new Tracetronic, which is going to be a doser that will dose all of your trace elements. And when we talk about trace elements, like we're talking like a mil or 2 mil or a couple of mil of trace a day.
Considerably less. I can speak to that product with some
Yeah,
experience,
I've
Jared.
seen a
I
video
have,
online of that. I think it was like Parker's Reef.
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah,
ain't
Yeah.
yet.
some
Yeah.
channel like that. The Tracetronic gear can dose as little as 0.04 of a milliliter
That's
at a
mental, isn't
time.
it?
It's a very, very small amount, which obviously you can do more than that as well. But yeah, it is dosed, or it is intended to replace things or to dose things like those drops of things that you're putting in your tank at a time. So if you want to put a drop of amino acids in your tank, you can get the Tracetronic to do that for you. In fact, you can split that drop up into multiple drops. It's very, very precise.
Mm. Which could be a game changer for a lot of people, because I'm one of them people that I just forget to do my
Yeah.
trace drops each night.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if you're not doing your trace drops religiously, why are you doing it at all? So if you can be really good and really accurate with that, then you might see some real benefits from your tank, and you can align that with your ICP and everything like that. And
Yes, I can say the one thing to be mindful of, because I feel in a similar category as yourself, where I had a good swarm of like 12 different things there that I was meant to dose every day into the tank, but the reality was I probably do it every third day.
Yep.
And as a result, the amount that I needed to dose of each was reflected by a 3-day dosage, not so much a 1-day dosage, because I get my ICP and go, oh, geez, I need more strontium. All right, well, I'll put more of that in and a bit more cobalt and a bit more of this. When switching to something that does religiously do it every single day, or maybe even split it up into multiple times each day, at least I was wise enough to go, I might drop these dosages a little bit, because it is actually going to do it every day, not every third day when I remember to do it. And so far so good.
and it is something you have to align with your ICP, or
Yeah.
you
Definitely.
can just go ad hoc and go, yeah, I think 10 mil of each will do. There's
Yeah,
more
yeah,
better.
Yeah.
Why not? But
yeah,
yeah,
definitely
really,
not.
it really is.
In saying that, I don't have a
Definitely.
dosing pump on my tank at all, which obviously you've come out to see.
Mm,
I am strictly water change only, but obviously
yep,
the limit there is that it's a softy only tank, so I don't have to dose. So
Yeah, softy like.
yeah, softy life. Yeah, so not a single. In saying that, I do go back to the old school ancient method of hand dropping, iodine and
yep.
nickel and all those traces that the softies love. But other than that, I'm the polar opposite. You've got 24 things being dosed with a tracetronic or whatever it might be, and I'm there just let's just do a water change. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Hey, and neither option
yeah,
is right
exactly.
or wrong. It's what works for
Whatever
you
your
and your
tank.
tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right.
You're right. Some people get really inventful with doses as well, like you were saying before, Sam. But
Mm,
the one that comes to mind, I think you did a video at his house a while back where I think he was dosing his food, like his frozen food. He kept his frozen food in a fridge,
yep, yep.
which kind of sat there thawed out, and he would take that
Yeah, there's wild
from the
Oh,
stuff you can
fridge.
do with doses now. They're even smart
Yeah,
enough. Some of the doses out there have the ability to, you can calibrate them and then dose. Say you want to dose 5 milliliters of something, it'll turn enough to dose 5 milliliters, but then it'll actually reverse and empty the line, so you don't have, if you're feeding
yeah,
something like a liquid food,
yeah.
that's sitting in the line until tomorrow, and then that first couple of mil that comes out of the hose is kind of gross.
yeah,
So it almost spins backwards 5 milliliters. And then when it doses tomorrow, it actually doses 10 milliliters, but only 5 milliliters comes out, if
Mm.
that makes sense. They're so clever with some of these things now. It's very impressive. And you really can tailor it to what you want these devices to do.
yeah. And when it comes to doses, like we talk about doses, like dosing all your supplements and everything like that, but without this product that was intended to dose your all your basic stuff,
Mm.
Yes.
we wouldn't have products like your Trident. We wouldn't have products like all of these
Yep.
testing devices, your KH tester. We wouldn't have any of those if someone didn't go, well, if I can draw water
That's
out
right.
of
Mm.
my tank to put into a vial, which can then read the water and then pump it back out again, like
Mm.
we wouldn't be here. A lot of
For
these
sure.
tech just wouldn't exist. So, but yeah, one of my favorite things is with doses is like you you look at we think like these were designed for an aquarium, but anyone who's been to hospital knows that they were around a long time before tanks.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
these
yeah.
keeping people alive, not just dosing trace elements. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
They've
Definitely.
just been changed and adapted for
um,
marine use, haven't they? Mm.
yeah, they
Yeah.
really have. Yeah,
Cheapened,
Yeah,
basically.
well,
But
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, those ones that pump stuff into your system would not be cheaper. I'll tell you right now.
no. Yeah. As soon as you talk about the medical industry,
Yeah.
prices get even more expensive than the aquarium
Yeah.
industry.
That's exactly right.
I can do without that beeping noise though.
That's funny.
uh, Another one that we probably take for granted is stuff like your auto feeders.
Yeah, love them.
Yep.
It, it's not one that everyone has on their tank, and it might be something that people only have on their tank part time when
Yep.
they go away or for work or whatever. But they can be a real savior sometimes for people in their tanks when they do go away, or for people who have fish have a high demand for
Mm.
food.
Yes.
I can't be around my tank all day to feed antheas, so
Yep.
I have two auto feeders on my tank, different foods. So
Yeah, nice. I
and
must
then,
admit, auto feed is something I have, but I only use when I go
Mm.
away. And that's because feeding the tank for me, well, for starters, the fish I have are fine with a feed once a day, and I am able to feed once a day. Um, even when things get busy at work, I normally have the time to feed once a day. But it's the one thing in the day that I actually really do enjoy with the tank. So I have deliberately not automated that because I want to manually do it. And I think that's a key factor whenever we're talking about technology and automation. Don't replace things you
Mm.
enjoy doing on the tank
yeah,
or things that you can do and you want to do. Replace things that you don't like doing or you don't have the capability of doing. Like you can't do 24 alkalinity tests a day on your tank. It's
yeah,
probably not overly sustainable if you want to get up overnight and do that. But if you don't like, I don't know, scraping the inside of your skimmer neck, maybe you look into a neck cleaner and see if that'll do it for you.
To the
Yeah,
point on
exactly
using
right.
them in when you're going on holiday, sorry, like if you're setting them up, I think one thing for people, which I made the mistake quite early on, is not just putting it on the tank the day of going away, set and forget.
Oh, yeah,
It's something that I think recommend people do is set up beforehand, let it run for a week, test out how much food's coming
for
out.
sure.
Don't overfill it with too much in case it dumps it all, because I've seen some nightmare stories. And how many babysitters look in the tank and go, well, they were hungry. I just kept feeding them. And they keep dumping it in. Your auto feeders can do the same.
Spot on.
Yeah. No, they're a great product. They have their
Yeah.
purpose. Some people use them all the time, some use them part-time, some don't need it at all. But
Yep.
they're definitely a bit of tech that they've come a long way too, because I think when they first come out, they were a fairly expensive thing. But now they're quite affordable to the point where you could buy the Temu copies and stuff, and they do a
Yeah.
really decent job. There's not a lot to them. It's just a little gear motor and some batteries. So
Yeah, it's just a tub that turns around with a hole in it. I mean, I know some of the more expensive ones have some fancy features and stuff, but fundamentally, it's a tub with a hole that turns around.
What about the
Yeah.
ones for frozen food? They seem to be kind of a new development that's coming up.
Well, that is an exception to the rule, isn't it? There's some very fancy automated frozen feeders coming out, which, I must admit I haven't pulled the trigger on yet, but it's tempting. They look pretty cool
for the price though. Maybe wait for it to come down a bit. I think like when the auto feeders came on the market, they were expensive and they dropped. So give it time.
Spot on, yeah. And I actually had a distributor reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'm looking at bringing these into Australia. Do you think they'd sell?" And I went, "Oh, geez, they sound pretty good. How much would they retail for?" And they told me, and I went, "No, forget it, man. No one's at this point in time. You might move 3 or 4 like auto frozen feeders at like $2,000 a piece, but it's not something that everyone's going to add to their tank at that price point. But if it gets like maybe $500 or something, you might start selling a couple hundred of them, but at a few grand, it's just it's a bit far out of reach for most.
Putting frozen food in your tank it's enjoyable anyway because the fish go crazy. It's one thing that I wouldn't take away. So that's probably one item I wouldn't purchase.
For sure. Yeah.
And I get a little bit experimental with my frozen food feeding. Like it's not the same thing all the time. It's a different thing every single night. Sometimes I add a little bit of Celcon into it. Sometimes some Vitality. Sometimes a little bit of garlic oil. Like it's always different. Keep the fish guessing. So to have that automated would be tricky.
Your fish have a personal chef, it seems.
They do. I even make my own frozen food.
I remember seeing that online, actually. Get down to the fish markets. And,
well, sometimes I do, but sometimes it could be just marinara mix from Coles, and I chop that up and mix some stuff into it. And
pick out the good stuff for yourself.
Yeah. The other day, and the kids are like, "Oh, what about them prawns? Can we have those? Take them. They're yours. Don't touch them." But
it's got a bit of fish fee soaked into them, but they'll be right.
So we'll move on to the next part would be like more or so your basic products that have evolved to incorporate some smart features like apps and things like that. So the first one I think of is like a DC controllable pump. So even before we get into it and then the app, we have a pump or even a skimmer that was controlled by a DC controller. So there is a little bit of there's an extra step to the pump. It's not just flat out 100% all the time. You can control it. You're drawing less power from it. You can have it do some pretty cool things. There's some pumps that will you can use probably closed loop that do different pulses and sine wave and all those kinds of things. But then you got the next level up from that with the apps and stuff. Some of them will show you how many liters per hour you might be pumping through that thing. They might show you the temperature that it's running at. You might be able to tell Siri to turn it off when you're doing a water change. Like, there's all kinds of cool things.
And even some other stuff, like syncing or anti-syncing them or grouping them and having, this one cranks up to 100% while the other one slows down for a little bit, and then they'll switch over and really sort of create these environments and things like that. I think that's where the technology has allowed us to really create these systems rather than just trying to piece together various
Certain
components.
flows too, isn't he?
Yeah,
Program different types of flow and different waves and crests and everything. So yeah,
yeah.
Yep, yep. Yeah, you can go as deep into that
yeah,
as you like,
yeah,
really.
exactly right.
That's probably one of my favorite parts, because I feel like that, um, when you give coral the same or even maybe fish to an extent, when you give it the same thing over and over again, like they're
Mhm.
just getting the same
Mm.
flow, they'll just start to grow a certain way. But if you keep them guessing and they're getting all different kinds of flow at different speeds and stuff, um, yeah, they'll start to really encrust and anchor down and they'll grow all different
Mm.
ways. And polyp extension will be crazy because they're looking for feed. So I think that that's a really cool feature, where you can sync, anti-sync, have them do different things. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a good use case of
Mm.
technology
Yeah,
rather than a gimmick. Some of the stuff's a little bit unnecessary. There's a little bit of fun, like maybe kicking off, thunderstorms or something with your lights and that. You might go,
yeah,
okay, I don't know. Look, someone out there might tell me that there's great benefit to the inhabitants of your tank. I think it's just a little bit of silliness, but that's okay too. But I think some of the stuff you can do with those pumps and really create those flow patterns and stuff is nothing but good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Well, you just touched on lights. Then let's talk about lights a little bit.
Yeah, you bet.
Um, some of it's great. Some of it, like you said before, is a bit of a gimmick.
Yep, yep.
I think the main thing is, I remember running lights on those little timers that you got to
Oh
press
Oh
yeah,
in.
yeah, the
yeah,
24-hour buttons ones.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
and they weren't the most, they weren't the greatest thing in the world. So when they blew, you never knew. You just walked
yeah,
into a dark tank. But now lights, you can have them turn on, ramp up, ramp down, have a
yep,
Yeah,
moonlight
cloud
setting.
cover.
Um, yeah,
yep.
that's
Yeah,
too
and
much for me. That's
what about storm? Like the storms were mentioned before. Do you guys not have fish raves at your places? No?
All the time, every Friday night. No,
I'm
what I do like, it is similar vein to that though. I do love having things like a photo
yeah,
mode,
yeah.
yes, yep,
where it doesn't look maybe the best to
Mm.
your eye, but on your phone or your camera or whatever, the pictures come out really good. You don't have to use any filters. That's
Yeah,
super
one
handy.
button and
yeah.
then ready to photograph.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another really handy one is the intensity
Mhm.
slide
Yes.
on most of them as well, because um, yeah, you might want more intensity over time. Like you start the tank at 20%, you know you want to get to 100, but probably not. You don't want to be there straight away, so you can kind of slowly bring the intensity up slowly if you want to.
Yep.
You're trying to battle some algae, you can take the intensity all the way
Mhm.
down. You got
I
spooked fish, whatever,
I even like if it's going to be like a 45-degree day or something silly, I just take that overall intensity slider and bring it back to about 70% for the day. Just
Yep.
takes the
Yeah.
edge off the heat, and the corals are completely fine with a 70% intensity light for a day. It's a little bit overcast, no big deal, but it just takes the edge off that temperature and stops the chiller
Yeah,
working
I
too
think the
hard.
schedules
Yeah.
are good as well for new reefers because you can just go online. Most lights have
Oh,
many to choose
absolutely.
from, whether it's built in or you download it yourself. Plug it in. You like the look of a
Yeah.
light at a fish shop, and you can just recreate it at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spot on. That's a big thing, getting exactly the same schedule that either your buddy
Mm,
has or the local shop has or a tank you're following online has. You can see the results and you're like, well, I've got the same lights,
mm.
same schedule. I can, eliminate a
Yeah.
variable there.
Yeah. Good point.
You can also make it very personal as well, each and every light. So I know that lights are they're all battling against each other because we're
For
dead,
sure.
we grow coral the best,
Mm,
we got the best looking light, all that stuff. But you can almost make each light copy another light if
Of
you
yeah.
course.
really
True.
want to. Like they're not there's no signature look for each individual light. Some might come out of the box a little bit bluer because they got more blue diodes, but you can change things up a little bit to make them look
Mm,
identical. But you can really personalize to fit your eye, and you might not be doing what you want for the coral, but if it's aesthetic for you when you walk in the room, you go, "That's the way I want my tank to look," then
Happy days.
that's
Mm.
great because back in the day, T5 and all those other types of lights that we've had over the years, it was this or nothing. Like this is the
Yeah,
color.
no
Like
choice.
to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
physically change the color spectrum on T5 lights is you got to take a bulb out and change it to a different bulb,
Mhm.
Yep.
like something a little bit cooler, more cool white or warm white or a what do they call it? A Cintiq
Yeah,
blue or
like tinny
so
or whatever,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, it's very personal now. Everyone's tank can look completely different. Um, but yeah, there's some things there that I could do away with. I know that brands do it to be different. I don't think we really need to replicate what the Great Barrier Reef is doing right now.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Some of that geolocation
Yeah,
copying and stuff like that. Yeah, you can replicate a 3-month cycle on the Great Barrier Reef. I'm not so
yeah.
fussed on that, but look, you could create an argument that made me look into it a bit more. But yeah, at this
Maybe for
point in time,
spawning maybe, but I guess that's more moon
yeah,
cycles, but
potentially,
yeah,
Yeah,
potentially. Although unless you're in a coral farm, I think spawning your tanks almost more
oh,
of a
yeah,
hindrance than a good
can make a
thing.
mess, can't it?
Definitely.
yeah. Um, and then like more recently, I think skimmers have probably joined the bandwagon with DC pumps and now apps as well. They were probably a little bit further behind than what the pumps were, but there's some cool
Yeah, I
features stuff to happen with skimmers now.
Yeah, I reckon skimmers were probably later because it's not the sort of thing you want to change settings on remotely.
Mm,
The ability to do so, okay, good, that's fine. But what I do love about skimmers these days, and it's becoming way more common, is the float switch that will send you a push notification.
Yeah, when it's
Yeah,
full.
And when I say the float switch, I mean
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
cup. Yeah, so if the skimmer gets full, it can either slow the pump or the skimmer down or turn the skimmer off, but also send you a push notification so that when you get home from work, the first thing you probably need to do is empty that skimmer cup and see why it's full or what's going on, and just gives you that heads up. I think that's a great adaptation of a bit of modern technology into a pretty legacy piece of reefing
yeah.
equipment.
That's exactly
yeah.
right. Have you ever plumbed your skimmer cups directly down the drain? Because I'm always concerned that you might have, skimmer overflowing. You've got no sensor to tell you that it's overflowing. It's straight down the drain, and you just keep draining a tank.
I
Mm.
absolutely do. Um, with a caveat that I got super, super lucky on. I plumbed mine into the drain and I was aware of that issue of if the skimmer goes nuts and
Mm.
just pumps, hundreds of liters down the drain, this would be a problem. I got super lucky with the run of hose that I did from the skimmer cup to the drain. It's a very slow
Okay.
leak,
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
very slow drain, I should say.
Yeah.
So whilst technically it could, fill up, turn the skimmer off over the course of a couple of hours,
Mm.
empty that cup out, fill up again, or turn on, fill up again. At least every time I did that, it would send me currently now with the skimmers with these apps. It sends me
Yeah,
a push
that's good.
notification to tell me. Um, but I know that the way the skimmer's tuned, that I should never get the full cup notification. It shouldn't fill
Yeah.
Then
quicker than that
yeah,
drain.
that's good.
So if I ever see that, I'm like, let's turn the skimmer off.
Yeah,
Something's not
good
right.
call.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got bits and pieces like that you can add to your skimmer cup
Mm.
now, like you said before, the neck
Yeah.
cleaner. There's a few people that have made I had a 3D printed one made, but,
Yep.
like a little carbon,
Oh, yeah.
lid, I guess, that you can
To
put
stop the
on
smell
top
and
to
stuff, isn't it?
help with the smell.
Yep.
And now a lot of skimmers are being made where you can pump ozone through them.
Yes.
We know that you can't really well, you probably can if you really wanted to, but it's not advisable pumping ozone through just any skimmer. They don't all handle it.
Mm.
No.
Now skimmers are kind of coming with that uh, adaptation where they've got 2 outlets out of the, intake, so they can do both air and the
Yeah, yeah.
ozone, so which is cool. So
You've got also the option to combine two of the technologies we've talked about in the podcast so far, where you can use something like a continuous duty or just a peristaltic dosing pump to empty your skimmer
Mm.
cup as well.
yeah,
So I know people that have said, "Oh, I'd love to plumb my skimmer into the drain, but the tank is lower than the drain, or I don't have a drain near the tank, it's a good 10-meter run away.
Yeah.
No worries. Set up a little dosing pump to pump 500 mil a day. Do it in the middle of the night. Take it out of the skimmer cup, pump it into the drain, and happy days. Never empty it again.
After we've got all of those products, we step it up a little bit. We start to now get into, I guess it's probably the bit where people start to sit on the fence with these products, where they're like, not needed. We're kind of, we don't need it. It's too much money to start with, or we're not physically doing any work on our tanks anymore. And for some people, it's like, but this keeps me really in tune with my tank, and I need it. It helps me. I'm a busy person. I need it. So it's more around your monitoring side of it. And this is still not your testing side of it. This is just your monitoring. So stuff like where you just have a probe sitting in the tank. So you, at any point of the day, you can log into an app and go, what's my pH? You can't change too much with that. There are some devices. So I've got some refactory in my tank. If my pH is too low, I can have it do this and do that. But there is a lot of products where it just simply tells you what.
Yeah, just monitor, no action. Yep.
So the first one that I think of is your temperature monitor, something that could be app driven, or it could just be a digital little clip-on thing that you have in the cabinet that just measures temperature.
Yeah, or you can get the products that have temperature probes on them, like an Inkbird for heaters and things like that, where it obviously has a inbuilt temperature probe that detects and then turns on off accordingly. But how accurate they are, probably the Inkbird are probably at the bottom. But
True.
Some of them are great. Some of them now have double outlets where you can plug a heater in one side and a chiller in the other side. So, and set it so if your tank is running too cold, the heater will turn on. If your tank is running too hot, your chiller will turn on, and it helps you dial that temperature right in as well, which is pretty cool, because back in the day, it was just a heater and you would set it. Your heater blew, like mine did a couple of years ago. It either turns itself on or it turns itself off.
Yep.
And you don't really know until it's too
Too late. Yeah.
Because who's testing the heater at the end of the day? The same goes with chillers. Like the chillers would have their inbuilt thermostat. And if it was too hot, they just kick themselves on. And I've heard of horror stories where they kick themselves on and they never turn themselves back off again. And you got an axle tank after that. So,
brutal.
Yeah, tough.
But I think there's things like you mentioned temperature there, monitors or alerts. I think there's something as simple as temperature, but as critical as temperature. You can get things that they don't even have to control the temperature if you don't have that much faith in the technology yet. You have not bowed down to our AI overlords just yet. You can get things that will just monitor temperature and will send you a push notification or an email, or, as you said, Jared, even just have a display that will tell you what the temperature is, so that you can just add that layer of extra redundancy in, just to make sure that your heater and or chiller are working the way you intend them to work. They're normally not super expensive. And like I said, I think temperature is fairly important. And a relatively accurate thing to be able to measure as well.
Yeah. And I feel like the ones nowadays all have apps rigged up with them, so you can track how it's, tracking over days, weeks, months, and whether it's temperature or you're looking at like another probe, like a pH probe or salinity, you can see your daily shifts or your monthly shifts or season shifts. So that also helps you get in tune with your tank, right?
Most definitely.
There's simple versions too, as well. Like you can buy just temperature pens that you just dunk into the thing, and the little digital reading comes up. So like when we talk tech, it doesn't have to be as crazy as something with all the bells and whistles and apps and
not every bit of tech is internet connected.
Yeah, it could be as simple as like, I don't have much time to wait for your thermometer or anything like that. I don't like the look of that little suction cup thing sitting on the front of my tank.
Yep.
I'll get the pen out, dunk it in, 10 seconds. I know the
Pops very
temperature.
cool.
Easy as that. It's
Spot
for
on.
some people. That's enough for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
to the same extent, we could talk about pH and salinity. So there is both ends of the scale there. There is
Yep.
things that are just like a pen that you can dunk in, all the way up to full blown probes with apps and stuff as well. And I think pH is excellent. I like seeing my pH trends.
Mhm.
I love the alerts that I know that my pH is dropping. Sometimes it tells me that I've fully saturated kalkwasser or
Yep.
number of different things. I need to start upping how much I'm putting into my tank. But I have a love-hate relationship with salinity probes. I
Yes.
don't think we've quite mastered that.
No,
in our
you
industry.
can't rely on them
Mhm.
100%. You can definitely use it as a guide and maybe some low level automation, but
Or
you
compare
got
him
to
with
keep
others.
you got to keep your finger on the pulse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Andrew Sandler at Polar Reef, actually, when he spoke about his tank issues that he had, which we spoke about in the last episode briefly, he did have fail safes of temperature and water level sensors and things like that. But the downfall that he had was that he had an issue with his Wi-Fi, so he wasn't getting sent the alerts. So apparently the alert had come through at something like 5:30 a.m. He said, but he didn't wake up till 7 because he didn't have Wi-Fi, didn't get the alerts. He was already, an hour and a half behind, unfortunately, which might have been something that
Wow.
could have been avoided. But it's as simple as just a Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
not what you want.
Another one I've got here that I'm silly for not having on my tank when I did have the RODI turn itself on was a leak detector.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I think these are great. I have one. This is how stupid I am. I
in a
have one.
box.
I have a good one. Like it was $150. I went all out. It's a great one.
Yep.
It'll send me alerts. I can have it turn lights on in my house. It's
Mm.
that good, right? It's a pretty special
In
one.
a box,
but
it's no good, mate.
in a box, it's no good. The reason why it's not on my tank is I've kind of overloaded all of my
Your
plug on
outlets.
my
yeah.
power
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
And the problem with this one, it's got a fairly fat head on it where you plug it in. So I couldn't kind of push it in while it's next to another plug.
Yeah.
I have a spare outlet there, but I couldn't physically put it in. I'm like, I'm not going to flood my house. What do I? What do I need this thing for? It can go in the.
That's where you went wrong.
That's where I went wrong. I had it, but
Is
I
it on
didn't
yet?
use it. And I think it
Okay.
is now. Yeah, it's
Have
definitely
you
on
rigged it
now.
up like
Good.
disco
Great.
mode in your house when it like lights up and stuff? Or
Haven't, but I can if I want.
yeah,
I can.
But
It's
it doesn't even have to be one that fancy.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can get like battery powered
battery one.
$5, $5, $10 leak things that aren't specifically aquarium related, but will potentially save you in the early stages of a disaster.
another one related to
Yeah,
that that could also be a failsafe would be a water level sensor, right? So it'd pick
Yep,
up
yeah.
if you
Spot
are if you don't have a leak detector, if you've got a water level sensor, it might pick up that you have a leak or you have too much water going in or something. So they're also
Yep, you're about to have a leak.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Another piece of monitoring, and Sam, you and I spoke about this a little bit with Hadley because we've all had them
Mhm.
somewhat on our tanks, and that's a camera as well.
Oh yeah.
Great
Great
little
bit of gear.
tech, yeah.
Yeah.
For many reasons to just check on fish when you're bored at work, or it
Yeah,
could
kill
be
some
to
time.
see if something's going wrong. Like you can kind of cross check if you get an alert and say,
Yep.
You're flooding your house. You can kind of look at the camera and go, yes, I am flooding my house. Better get home.
It is high tide in my lounge room. Yep.
Hopefully low soon.
But also you can kind of go back, you're on holidays or something like that. You
Yeah.
can, watch the person feed your fish and go, I've got a camera where I can actually talk through it as well. And you can jump in and go, hey, that's too much food. No more. Thank
You
you.
don't talk to the fish like fishy.
No.
Daddy misses you.
You could alternatively set up a camera in the sump as well to have like a double safeguard,
I
right?
do.
As well,
Sump's
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
not just the tank. Because I feel like if you're away for like a week or more, you're going to get enough film on the glass that you probably won't see anything in the tank anyway, if it's
Yep.
not clean.
Yeah,
So,
good call.
yeah, or inside. Do
Yeah.
cams exist that can be put inside the tank?
Yeah.
They do,
Yeah,
but they're
Yeah,
probably going
I
to get the
have
same
seen one.
surface issues that
Yeah.
you're going to have on the glass
yeah,
anyway.
True.
Yeah. But I do have one in my sump. I love it because getting on in age, I've got a bit forgetful as well. So I can kind of go, did I turn my skimmer back on? Look
Yep.
at my camera. Yep, I did. Do
Yep,
I need to change my roll in my roller mat? No, not quite yet. So it helps a little
Mm.
bit. Uh, and my bedroom's upstairs. And if I'm in bed watching some Netflix or something and it dawns on me that I forgot something, I don't have to walk downstairs. That's super lazy, I know, but
That's all
whatever.
right.
Don't judge me. Who cares?
Makes the difference. But the cameras can be handy for things that sort of bridge the gap where we don't have sensors and things yet. So you might get like a low P or a high pH notification because you've got a pH monitor on the tank, and you're like, what could that be? You can look at the camera, and might be that your skimmer's not running properly, the snail's clogged it, and that's caused a low pH, or it could be my calcium reactor pump's not going. I'm not getting the low pH effluent out of that. That's why my pH has gone up. It does give you the ability to sort of use one bit of information and narrow down what the actual problem is before you even get to the tank, which can be the difference between racing home at 200 kilometers an hour to fix
Yeah.
something and also going, you know what, the skimmer will be fine. I'll be home in 2 hours. I can fix that. Then.
My cam has a temperature built in, so I can actually see the temperature of the house. I don't have a
Nice.
chiller.
Nice.
I don't have a
wow.
chiller at all, so it's really handy because I've got a temperature inside the house, and if I know that it's above 26 degrees inside, I don't have my chiller, so it's probably time to put on the air conditioning and cool the whole space down. So
Nice.
manage the whole area around it, not just the tank.
Well, there's another bit of
Yeah.
tech if you're remotely turning on your air conditioner.
Yeah, you could probably link them up
Yeah.
and make it do it for you. Mm.
It doesn't hurt to keep an eye on these things and do it yourself, but
Yeah.
even just knowing that
It's
the
there.
house temp's getting high and giving you the decision or the data to make the decision to either turn it on or not.
There's plenty of tech that we use that aren't for our tank, but we
Yeah.
use it to assist with our tank as well. And your aircon's definitely one of those things. So it's not just for you. So it's a nice temperature when you get home. Sometimes it helps you from having to buy a chiller as well.
Yep.
Next category that we go into it, we start to get into the testing side of things, and I guess also the automation side of things where it'll test and then do actions as well. But before we get too deep into it and all those real expensive gadgets and everything, there is a side of it where it just simplifies things a little bit for people. And some of that stuff is just like your Hannah testers, the eggs, right?
Yep.
I'm one of them people that I can't tell the shade between light pink and slightly lighter pink.
I don't think anyone can. Those, nitrate and phosphate.
And the difference would be 10 nitrate and 20 nitrate.
Yeah, it's a
and the
tiny
shade
change.
Slightly, like 10 nitrate and 20 nitrate is a very different thing.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
have a slight shade between pinks is crazy. So whereas now we've got Hannah, and Hannah's evolved over the years as well. Like some of their earlier stuff where the low range nitrates and the high range phosphates and stuff weren't really hitting the mark, and now they've come out with like high range nitrates and stuff. So we can get a little bit more accurate with it as well, and it's so much easier because not only do we get a closer, we get a decimal point there as well. So it's not 10, it's 10.5. It's we really know where we're trending and which way we're going with it as well. So
that's good.
And Hannah have a bunch of things. Not only do they have your basic stuff like nitrate, phosphate, your alk. Some are not really great. I don't think the calcium one's excellent. I don't think the magnesium one's excellent. The the pH one is what it is. It's a very simple test.
Yep.
But they've got like your salinity pens.
Yep. Yep.
Um, they've more recently brought out it's kind of like a little bit of a manual all-in-one tester,
Yeah, like a
you would say.
master
Yeah.
test kit kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Hannah's an excellent product, and along with Hannah, you've probably got stuff like Milwaukee that do your salinity. Um, what do you call them? They're like a digital
Yeah. Mhm.
refractometer in a way.
Yeah. I love those.
But you could also even put your refractometer in that. How would we
Yeah.
test
True.
salinity with it before that? It was just that little float thing that kind of with the
The
Hydrometer,
hydrometer.
hydrometer. That's the
yeah.
one. That's the word for it. But so that's made it a lot more accurate with your refractometer as well.
Mm.
Definitely.
I guess cost-wise, though, of these Hannah eggs, like, you're looking at a fair bit for each one, and if you've got 6 of them, you're looking at $5,000 or something like that, so you've got to consider that it's probably the cheaper end of the testing, but there still is the original, the Salifert test kits that come in a lot cheaper for, entry-level reefers. And, um,
And to some extent, the Salifert test kits are
mm,
better. Like I would much
Yeah.
rather use a Salifert calcium
I do.
test
Oh,
kit,
100%.
magnesium test kit.
Yep.
Even sometimes I would use a KH ALK test kit to cross check my Hannah
Yeah, that's what I
egg
do.
or whatever. Yeah. So I think because that color change isn't hard, when you're doing the drops to get your color change, that's not the hardest thing in the world. To see different shades of pink is tricky.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
Hannah's great, but it's not the be all end all when it comes to testing.
until we
No.
get the automated testing. Mm.
Automated. So yeah, getting into the next level, we've got Trident, so your Neptune
Uh-huh.
Trident, you've got your GHL, which isn't really a thing here in Australia, but we know it's still somewhat
Still about. Yeah.
relevant overseas.
Yep.
Refactory, even though that they're going through their thing at the moment, they had a bunch of products that automated tested for you. And then we've got your Focustronic products, which do your Mastertronic Essentials, your Alptronic, and
Tracetronic.
Tracetronic is your doser, but yeah, same kind of.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
So these are products where I guess if you have one, you're either labeled as someone who's very lazy or someone who's rich. Either either.
What if you're both?
Yeah. And you have lots of them.
I actually know someone that
Yeah.
has multiple under their tank, so.
He's got more gadgets under his tank than he does water volume in his stump. It's crazy.
Funny.
But yeah, I guess each to their own. Some people could not live without them. Some people have them because it's cool to have one, and some people go, it is absolutely not needed.
Yeah. I think it's horses for courses. Some people really enjoy this aspect of the hobby of coding things for their specific use case. They might get a real kick out of, I can press one button and it'll drop the flow of all of my pumps down by 30%, and it'll set the lights to this, and it'll turn the return pump off, and it'll, I don't know, stop the auto doses and turn the auto feeders, and it'll hold it like that for 30 minutes and then slowly turn everything back on. Some people get a real kick out of that. And
Yeah.
if that's you, that's great. Go for it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. But on the same hand, if that's not you, don't jump into that world. Like if the all that stuff's not for you, then don't do it. But there's no right or wrong answer there. I think if you really enjoy getting out your test kits, going through the process and putting in your journal whatever sort of results you got or whatever app you're using, then don't automate that. Like if that's something that you religiously enjoy every Sunday morning or something over breakfast, then keep doing that.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you absolutely loathe to do, or you don't have the capabilities, you talked about, not being able to tell the difference with the different shades of some of the test kits, or you might be a FIFO worker or something, and you're away from the tank for a month at a time, but you still want to be able to get results. Then look into some of these auto testers and see if that's gonna do what you need.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, 100%. I think it helps a little bit. People chase the stability, I guess, right? We
Yep,
spoke about it a fair bit in the last episode where we busted some myths, but everyone will say to you, "What's the success to a what? How do you have a successful tank?" And it will be 99% of people will say stability has to be stability, and you could do that manually. There is no
of
doubt in
course
my
you can.
mind that
Yeah.
you can do that. Does this stuff help?
Mm.
Definitely, 100% it will.
It helps, but it also makes it more difficult. If you're in a position where you can manually do it, you'll get better results manually doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
No machine is better than you.
Yet.
The difference is the machine works. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Elon's listening.
He does listen to this podcast, by the way.
Yeah, he's number one ticket holder.
There'll be AI in this stuff before you know it. You watch.
Yeah, that's right.
Might
Well,
already be in some new products, though.
I mean, we talk about tech. I know a number of hobbyists that ask ChatGPT questions.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I've got a 400-liter tank. My alkalinity is 7.0, and I want it to be 7.4. I'm using Aquaforest alkalinity. How much should I dose over how long? And ChatGPT tells them.
Mm.
Is that risky? I think so. But it's probably not that risky, to be honest. Like you can sanity check the results it gives you before you proceed. It's interesting, what works for some people isn't necessarily right or wrong. Just it's what works for them.
Yeah. I guess also further to just the testing side of it, some products you can kind of link together with other products. So
Yep.
a lot of them now are like, especially anything Neptune, you can kind of, I have to buy a module for everything these days to kind of make things sync with each other. But once you've got most of it there, you can that hub, the apex,
Yep.
will near enough do anything for you.
It's a self-correcting system, right? It does it all for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Your calcium drops, the next dose will pick it up again. You can have lights sync with wave makers and this, that, and everything, and then you can get into the coding side of it as well and do your own things. So, like, that's excellent. But again, I can understand why people say it's totally not needed as well. Like you're throwing money at your tank. Put it into the tank, not outside of the tank. But for a lot of people, the everything that runs a tank is just as important as the fish and the coral sometimes as well. Like
Definitely.
it might have even been the gadgets that got them into the hobby over the fish and the coral.
Yeah, they're just like gadget freaks and love it.
There's definitely some people out there that enjoy the technical side of it as much, if not more, than the other sides, which is, again, is fine. You got to find what works for you in the hobby.
Or is it the whole like golfing thing where it's like all the gear, no idea?
There's definitely an element of that too.
Yeah,
definitely is. I don't think I could ever have a tank that doesn't have some kind of, I've said it a million times, an out tester, something that tests my KH a couple of times a day. I think I can watch the trends, I can see, and they're all really good now. They're fairly accurate. They need very little work done to them to keep them accurate, to the point where the KH Whiz doesn't even need a probe. What is it? It doesn't need
Reagent.
solution.
Doesn't need reagent. Yeah. Yep.
So, like, that's the next step, right? Like, you don't need to buy anything to keep it running. It's self-sufficient, which is excellent. Because as well, like a lot of people forget with this monitoring stuff, these testing stuff, that there's an upfront cost, but there's an ongoing cost for a lot of it too.
For sure.
It was only, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago, we couldn't get Trident reagent in Australia at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you had a $2,000 testing unit sitting on the shelf doing
doorstop. Yeah,
not a lot at all. So keep that in mind as well. From here, we'll go to, I guess, next level tech. This is very kind of specific for specific
Advanced
applications.
reefers, you'd say, all right?
Yes, I would say a lot of the advanced reefers are going down these paths. I wouldn't say that they're advanced products. They've been around for some time now, and they're like the first one here is a calcium reactor.
Yep,
And for anyone who has never had a calcium reactor, and they Google what it is and what it does and how it works,
it's a learning curve.
it's a massive learning curve.
Yeah.
You kind of go, what do you mean that I need to melt coral to?
That seems counterintuitive.
It's wild.
It doesn't make sense, but it works. It works great, especially for very, very large systems. But there's knowledge that you need to acquire to run it well. It's a big upfront cost. There's a little bit to it. It's not just a calcium reactor. It's CO2. It's solenoids. It's heaps.
Yeah.
Multiple pieces of equipment with multiple settings
And
multiple failure points
and the
too.
media are the things you put in it. That's cost money too.
Yep. Lots of variables.
So, excellent product. Is it for everyone? No.
Yeah. It's
2010.
funny, isn't it? Like I've got a friend who's dosing 400 mil a day each of alkalinity and calcium, plus another 200 mil of magnesium, and he's looking at a calcium reactor. Although his tank's sort of at its twilight phase, he's looking to do an upgrade in about a year. So I'm like, I wouldn't change it. Maybe put a calcium reactor on the next tank. You know, you've got stability and you're already comfortable dosing ridiculous amounts of subs. Let's be honest.
Expensive supplements too, in some cases.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe just keep going with that path, but on the next tank, have a look at a calcium reactor and we'll go through it then. And that way you're not trying to pass the baton at such huge consumption already. Like you can start with it at basically no consumption and we can slowly drop the pH in it and get it working. So sometimes it's not just the tank, it's also the timing. I think it makes things a bit easier. Whilst we could, if for whatever reason it was not possible to continue dosing on his tank, you bet we'd get a calcium reactor on there and we'd get it working and his tank would be fine. But it just adds an element of risk switching from one to the other, almost cold turkey.
Yeah. And when you have one up and running, like there's a massive upfront cost for this thing. Like the calcium reactors, you buy a good one, $1,000 plus. Plus your CO2 regulator, plus your pH control, a bottle of CO2, and it all adds up. So there's a huge upfront cost there, but you put some media in there and you're good for months on months.
Definitely.
And it will just churn away and it will do its thing. And it's really kind of set and forget. You just watch your trends and up it or drop it or whatever you have to do. And
whatever you need to do.
And if you really have to, run a doser in line with it to kind of really keep things in tune. I know how to operate one now, but when I first looked into it, I was like, what do you mean? I don't
What is
get
this wizardry?
Yeah. How did someone figure that out? That's
it is wild, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, for those newbies that don't know what a calc reactor is, the idea in a nutshell is that use CO2 to dissolve coral or calcium carbonate or whatever the media is to release alkalinity and calcium into the water. Just more cost effective.
You drop the pH far enough down, which then in turn melts coral, breaks coral down, which then a byproduct from that is you're then getting from that calcium alkalinity and some trace elements.
That too.
And if you want, there's certain things that you can add into it to get magnesium out of it as well. So you're essentially getting all of your dosing out of melted coral.
Yeah, I always liken it to, there's a scene in The Matrix when Morpheus is describing the real world to Neo, and he talks about how the machines melt the dead humans to feed like the new baby humans that are batteries in the Matrix or whatever. But whenever I see that scene, I'm like, oh man, it's a human
Yeah.
calcium reactor. It's crazy.
A big human CAC reactor.
Big human calcium reactor. That's when you know you are a reef addict, when you start seeing things like that in
Oh,
movies.
it's so true.
It's a great analogy.
I want to use that one. So, kids.
I've got another one here for next level tech. I've only got it here because it's a newer trend. It's not something
Mm.
we've always done, but the auto water change
Oh, yeah.
system.
Yeah.
That can be it's fairly simple now. It's just continuous duty doses, really, going one way and the other way, in and
At
out.
the same time. Yeah.
Um, at the same time, yeah. So you're not really kind of dropping the volume of your tank, and then adding water in like you would in a normal water change where you take
Yep. Yep.
200 liters out and then put in 200 liters. You're taking out over the course of a day a couple of liters maybe only and
Yep.
replacing
Yep.
with fresh mixed or artificial salt, natural seawater. So, but it's not something that we've done forever either. It's probably, I don't know, a 5, 10-year-old thing
Say,
realistically,
speak for
maybe.
yourself. I've done it forever. I reckon I've done it for nearly 15 years, but I haven't done it for the last few years. I
I
remember
mean,
when
more so like as a mainstream type.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny when I first started doing it, everyone told me that it was no good, it was useless, and you need to do a weekly water change is the way to see the benefit. I said, no problem, whatever. I
Yeah.
want to do it this way, and it worked well for me. Now it's to the point where it's very common. There's specific products on the market for it, and I've
Yeah.
stopped doing water changes now. So it does go to show that sometimes the tech works for you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes your methodologies change for one way or
And
the
Sam,
other.
you were doing it with different salinity water, correct? When you were doing it? Yeah.
Later in the scenario I was, just to complicate things. Yeah.
You were such a
Yeah.
pioneer with it that you were using a product that wasn't even in Australia. You were getting an American dose.
The old liter meter pumps.
So we never even had anything like that
No,
here.
there was nothing suitable. There was no, well, I say nothing suitable short of tens of thousands of dollars for, medical industry continuous duty pumps. Liter meter pumps were an option that still wasn't continuous duty. It had run for a set amount of time every 10 minutes they'd alternate.
Okay.
One would run 5 minutes in a 5 minute window, then the next one would run the next 5 minute window. They weren't a continuous duty pump, but they were just a real heavy duty dosing pump that could pump water fairly fast, and like a considerable distance. So you could pump it 50 meters through a 1/4 inch bit of RODI tubing. So and they had a decent interface on them, so you could set, I want to change 20 liters a day, and it'd just do it. They were fantastic, and worked a treat, but it's one of those things that worked really well for me for a long time. But where my tank is currently right now, not needing to do water changes, so switched all that tech off.
And since you've turned it off, there are products now that do it easy.
More.
Kamala brought out an actual auto water
Specific
change
machine.
system.
Auto Aqua did too. Yep.
Yeah. So there's that. One of the last things that I've got on here, unless you guys have a few other products you need to add, we've got automated solenoid valves, which you don't see often, but you do hear of them.
Yes.
They're not like a readily available product that anyone is actually making, but for much larger tanks, you probably find that a lot of the public aquariums and stuff would have stuff like this. Obviously, we're talking about it because of Polo Reef and the little issue that he had with his solenoid valves, but there is an application for them as well, right? He had them on there to kind of run his closed loop system as a fail-safe emergency, that if his pumps ever turned off, he could use his closed loop system to still filter water, I believe is the rough rundown of it. So there's an application for it for him and for many others. For our tanks like ours, probably not. But I do see that this is the other reason why I've got this in here. I do see stuff like this becoming something in the hobby as well. Like
Oh, totally agree.
I don't think that it's far away. Like we already seen that Apex have a flow meter that
Yep.
just kind of, it's got BSP fittings. You can just run it in line with your pump and stuff. It'll continuously tell you what kind of flow you're running. A very similar application could be made for the same brand or other brands that do the exact same thing, that can open and close solenoids and then change things, divert flow at one way, another way, turn the pump off, all kinds of things. So yes, it's not something that we have right now, but I think it's the future as well.
They're more accessible than you would think. For those kind of use cases, I'd lean away from solenoids. Solenoids are good for low flow, high pressure situations like RODI and stuff like that. Motorized ball valves, where they literally are like the ball valve that you would have on your tank if you're opening or closing a valve on that. And it does just have an electric motor that does that for you.
Yep.
They're quite accessible. They're not super expensive. I've done a couple of projects with them now to turn things on, like semi-commercial skimmers with like wash down cups and stuff like that. Motorized ball valves turn on for might be 30 seconds every hour to wash the cup down or to clean the neck of the skimmer. They're not outrageously expensive. Like even the PVC ones actually cost more than the metal ones, which is ironic. You'd think metal costs more, but PVC ones that we need for salt water cost more. You're talking like sort of like a $300 motorized ball valve, depending on the size of the valve. So they're not outrageously expensive, and the interface on them is super easy. Like you can get ones that are either 240 volt AC, or if you're not certified electrician and you need to work with DC, you can get like 12 volt DC ones that, a power pack can turn them on or off. I agree. I think there will be scenarios where people start adopting these into their home tanks, and in some cases it'll be great, in some cases it could be disastrous.
It seems that bigger builds have a lot of these things built in, like the aquariums that you go to, Sea Life and all those type of things. They have a lot of these in there already. I guess it's just scaling it down to hobby size, hobby price.
Well, you've got a lot of public aquariums that are plumbed into, like you find there's no coincidence that a lot of public aquariums are on the water. So they can pump in water and send out water quite easily. And that's very easy with like solenoids like this. But Sam, more to your point that you were talking about before, like they're quite cheap.
Yes.
Just wait until the brands get their badge on it and they become very expensive. Like,
well, thankfully these have a use case outside of aquariums, just in sort of industry, wherever there's things getting pumped, not necessarily salt water, but and there's various controllers opening and closing these valves, as again, our AI overlords take over from from you and I doing it, Jared. Thankfully these things are accessible. But before you start automating the drain line on your tank, just show some caution and tread carefully with it.
Yeah, exactly right. Like it will come to a point where I think, like now that I do a lot of custom work at work and stuff, like I've been tinkering a lot with some of these bigger tanks, especially I've got a Peninsula that I'm designing at the moment, where biggest problem with Peninsula tanks is flow up one end. So we're looking at drilling holes, we're doing closed loop. That's nothing new, but when we're talking about we could do a water change by like drilling a hole in the end of the tank, putting a bulkhead in it, and then attaching a valve that you can automatically open and close. You could do a 200-liter water change without even being there. So that's the applications where I think it might help in the future.
100%.
But we see that these products are kind of already somewhat in the hobby. So I had, not on this setup, but on my RO filling station before, Auto Aqua make one where you plug your RODI fill line straight into this little solenoid. And and it has one of those optical sensors, so it'll just shut close once the water reaches the optical center. So that's
Yep.
one of them fail-safe things that so people don't flood their houses like stupid people like me.
It's a great bit of gear. Yeah.
Yeah, very simple. At the moment, like it's just RO line, so it's very, very simple.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
tiny little motor, but works well.
That's it.
And so it's already somewhat in our hobby. It'll only, become more prevalent in the future.
Maybe the
I
next
believe.
big thing,
So
hey?
Definitely.
I think so. I think there's a
Maybe.
need for it, and I think, like we're talking about in this tech, I think there is a real want and need for tech. A lot of people are against it, but I think people want it, need it, and while people want and need it, people will expand. People will be researching the next big thing, the next product, and this could be one of them. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it was just at the front of my mind after Polo Reef, and I thought, yeah, okay, that might be something to talk to as well.
Yeah. Well, that's a cautionary tale
Yeah.
there, isn't it?
It is, and I think even he has said there's a bunch of problems that went wrong, not just the
Yeah.
Yeah.
solenoid valve. Like it is,
That's often how these things go. It's a perfect storm.
Snowball.
yeah,
Mm.
definitely, definitely. So the last two bits of the episode, we're going to talk about where tech is needed and where it's not needed, and this is going to be all individual. Sam Parker, I think I'll start with you. Where do you think that some of these products are needed? Where
Yep.
for you?
For me, yep. For me, as a slightly more mature / old gentleman, some of this tech is needed to replace things that either I can't do or I just really don't like doing. So I remember the days when I did have to do water changes in my tank, and I remember many, many years ago when I had to lug those 25-liter drums of water around and siphon water out and then try and lift these drums up, things like that. For me, tech replacing a process like that where I'm pumping water in and out of the tank, whether it's at the tank by turning levers or whether it's via your phone or whether it's done in the cloud, whatever, not having to lift 25 kilo drums of water is something that was super important to me at the time. And maybe not so much, well, the not lifting them is still important, but doing the water change is not as important for me now. Likewise, whenever I'm talking automations or technology more broadly, I'm looking to make things that I don't like doing or I can't do easier, more fun, more likely to happen, eliminate parts of the hobby that I don't like doing. So I'm not it's not that I don't like testing. Well, maybe I don't like testing because I don't do it as often as I should, particularly now, many years down the track. So having something that automatically tests for me, I'm still not a big advocate of hands off the wheel. Even with my auto testers that have the ability to then take actions, rarely do I ever actually let them take action. I like it to tell me what's happening and I'll take the action. I just like it to do the test and tell me when something does come out of range. And whether that be temperature, pH, salinity, or any of your elements around alkaline, be calcium, magnesium, nitrate, phosphate, you test, tell me when things aren't right. I'll make the decision based on the info you give me. Outside of that, automations for me, some of those things I think gave an example before with like the skimmer plumbed into the drain. And if I couldn't get that to drain properly, I would use a dosing pump to empty it for me. I don't ever enjoy emptying a skimmer cup. So if there's something I can do that doesn't cost me a limb to automate that and it's feasible, I will do it. And likewise, I don't like pulling my skimmer out and cleaning it. Even if the cup's empty. So I've got a automatic neck cleaner in there. So the combination of the skimmer draining with the neck cleaner means I pull the skimmer out maybe once every 2 years and going to try to get the coralline off the body for quite some time. Stuff like that to me is where tech's at. I want to spend more time. Like that's where I laugh. I don't have an ATO on the tank now, but if I had to lug and try to tip RO water into various sections, I absolutely would have an ATO. And like I don't have an auto feeder because, well, I do when I go away, but when I'm at home, I don't have an auto feeder because I am able to feed here and I like feeding here. So I'm not going to replace that process. So to me, that's where tech's needed to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's where, not just in our aquarium life, that's where we should be looking for all things in life where we want to introduce tech.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think, yeah,
And
to add to that, I feel like where tech is needed, I feel like overarching technology obviously reduces risks around things in your tank. And overall, depending how you use them or your automations, it increases stability. So, being those two key things for me, they're my two uses. So, minimizing risks or being alerted to certain things that could be a problem through automation, I think is amazing, and it's come leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. And then increasing stability. I know we spoke a lot in the last episode about stability. If you're keeping heavily stocked tanks or large tanks, then you are going to need the tech to deal with that, right? So I guess if you've got a tank that is not only large but fully stocked with, say, SBS coral, a high demanding coral, it's going to need so much to be put into it. And if there's some things that can help you with that process, then technology is the best. And in terms of stability wise, obviously the critical things we spoke about earlier, like salinity, alkalinity, they can be very easily sorted out. Whether or not they will improve the technology for that, or we've just reached the point where stability is achieved quite easily with the equipment we have, or we've got more roads to go. I guess we can talk to that later on. And then lastly, if you're traveling, if you're away from your tank, tech is so necessary. And if you don't have it, then honestly, you're
in the dark.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. And you've got the capability now to, like you were saying earlier, Jared, you can do water changes without ever being there, touching water, picking up a bucket, seeing anything. It's all done for you. So if you're traveling,
It's crazy.
if you're fly in, fly out worker, yeah, it's amazing. So moving forward, I don't know what's next. What's next?
I think what I want to add to what both of you guys said is I think a lot of people would put that, I'm not saying this, but a lot of people kind of say what you're saying as just being a lazy hobbyist. But you never know what someone else's situation is. Like they love the hobby, but their lifestyle might just be frantic and busy and all kinds of stuff. And the only way that they can physically have this tank and have it looking as good as it is by having some of these products.
100%.
Yeah.
So if that is the only way that I can do it, that is what I will have to make sure that I can have this tank. So to an extent, I fully agree with both of what you said. The other thing that I'll add to that is I use a lot of it to keep myself accountable and make myself a better hobbyist as well. So being the person that could put his dinner in the microwave and then forget that his dinner's in the microwave.
Then wonder an hour later why you're hungry.
I'm like, geez, did I eat dinner? Yeah.
Doesn't it
me.
beep at you?
So it does. That's the worst.
Only if you turn it on. If you forget to put time on the microwave, it'll just sit there all
still
day.
In the box.
That reminds me, I haven't eaten today. But yeah, so that for me, it keeps me understanding where my tank is and what it needs as well. So if I have these things to say, hey, guess what? Your ALK is 7.5 today. I can go right where I want it. Thank you very much. And not make any changes. But the moment that it tells me that, hey, we're trending downwards, you might want to do something. I can. So, some of it are gimmicks. I won't lie.
For sure.
But for the things that I've chosen to put on my tank are all there. They all have practical uses, and it's for the tank, but they're also for me as well.
And for your sanity as well, too.
Nothing wrong with that.
100%. Yeah, they definitely are, because I can't be around my tank all the time. I have a pretty busy life a lot of the time, and busy lives mean you forget things and things aren't important. Like my tank is very important to me, but if family life is taking over, then the tank takes a back seat. So
Of
I
course.
need something to kind of somewhat watch over it for me while I can't give it the attention it needs. And
Yeah.
that's where this tech
Yeah.
helps with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
further that, guys, where do we think that tech is not needed?
Yeah. There's one scenario, or there's a couple of scenarios. I touched on one already around replacing things that you enjoy doing. To me, that's a bad idea. If you enjoy doing it, keep doing it. Don't use tech to replace your input or change your input unless you enjoy the tech more. But where tech, I think, runs into a lot of trouble is people think the tech will replace them on the tank to the point where they don't even need to know what it's doing.
Yeah.
And the analogy I think I've used on the podcast before is you shouldn't use cruise control if you don't have a driver's license. Like
Yeah.
you need to know how to drive before engaging cruise control. Otherwise, things are going to end badly. If you don't know how to do a calcium test manually, I really don't think you should set up an automated calcium test and then setting up actions for it to do that. You want to be aware of what it's doing and how it's doing it, and then maybe handing over part of it for something else to do it for you and feed you back the information. Um, there's definitely a scenario in our world now, and it's probably been preyed on by some of the manufacturers that give people the impression that if they buy all the gear, I think Sam said it before, all the gear, no idea, that I've got all the most expensive equipment on my tank, it should run good. You still have to know how to reef. Is the end of it. The technology can help you, but it can't do it for you.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
guess for me, I think overarching for me, because I don't run a tank with all that much tech, that I think it's
Yep.
important to still note that you can still run a very successful tank without technology.
Absolutely. Great point.
But obviously, being consistent with your maintenance and your processes is then going to become of higher importance than relying on a gadget, for example. Um,
Yep.
so to keep that in mind, and then obviously we've been talking about a fair few quite expensive items or luxuries, as some people might call them, maybe in the roofing community. So budget obviously is going to be something that you need to consider. So the tech might not be suitable
Yeah.
depending on your budget, depending on your space. Is it worth rigging up all these things on a tiny nano tank? That's something for you to decide as well. But I guess there is some
Yep.
spots in there that tech is not needed. And yeah, we're doing it
Spot
to
on.
replace our actions, but at the end of the day, you're exactly right, Sam. We're the one that directs the reef, and we control the reef that we own. So yeah,
Yep.
that's how I feel. Yeah,
Yep.
Couldn't agree more.
I'll add to it as well. I wouldn't ever advise someone put something on their tank that they don't fully understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So we spoke a little bit about calcium reactor. Once you understand it, you get the gist of it. But up until that, there's a learning curve there. There's a little bit of knowledge that you need. So I wouldn't just go buy one and wing it. It's
Yeah.
not the way to do things. And I think there's a lot of product that we've spoken about today where that makes sense. Like you can't just buy it, throw it in the tank, and hope that it
Things
works
can go wrong real quick.
real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And then the other one that I'll add to it is you don't need to add things for the sake of adding things. Like I'm going to use you, Sam Parker, as the guinea pig here, right?
Here we go.
So like we've seen your tank, we've watched it, we know you've got every gadget under the sun in that cabinet and stuff. There's no need. I don't need to go out and buy a Mastertronic Essentials
No.
and a Reef Bot and a Reef Factory. I don't need all of that because Sam Parker has it.
No,
I
no,
don't
definitely
need
not.
it because at the local shop that I go, they've just set up an Apex system on their reef. I don't,
Yep.
or the young guy who's helping you pick your coral out because he runs it. You don't need those things. Like
No.
if it fits you and your tank, then by all means go for it. But if someone says this is the best thing I've ever seen, you need it, you must have it. You don't have to have it. Like, do your
No, that's right.
research, find out what you need to have on
Mm.
your tank, and then buy it if it aligns down the track. It's not. You don't need to impress anyone. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impress them with what's the livestock.
Yeah, and your methodology and
Yep.
your maintenance practices and all of that means far more than opening
Absolutely.
an app and showing them your pH trends. Who
Mm.
cares at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
at every video that you've ever done, Sam, I think the biggest thing that people take away is how crazy was that showpiece coral? How
Yep.
nice
Yep.
was
Yep.
that fish that he had? Geez, his water looks crystal clear. All of those things,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I love his light mechanism above his tank. At no point did anyone ever say, like, I like that guy's tank because he had
Because
a
of the apps.
button and he had every
Yeah.
sun and he had 6 probes in his sump.
Yep.
Like,
There
all of
might
that
be
is
some
irrelevant.
people out there that like that though. There's probably a small audience, but
There's probably maybe bigger than we think audience, but it doesn't mean that's what they should
Exactly.
think. It's just what they are thinking.
Yeah, they're moving away from the goal at that point as well.
Yeah.
Like, all of our goals here is to have like a successful tank.
Yep.
Whatever that may be. It might be a softy tank. It might be a full blown SPS tank. It might be fish only. It doesn't really matter. But the goal is we're keeping livestock alive. Realistically,
Yeah.
and be pleasing to the eye, right? A lot of this stuff sits in cabinets next to the. Like, if I wasn't to open up the cabinet, who would know that it runs it anyway?
Yeah.
You physically have to open up the app and show me that you run
yeah.
these things for me to know that you have it anyway. And at that point, you're just showing off. So, yeah, we don't need to show off. We just need to show off our
Yeah.
livestock and stuff as well.
Let
That's
the
it.
reef shine.
Exactly right. So hopefully everyone's taken something at least from that. If you have been sitting on the fence, we haven't gone into super depth with each and every product. There's so many
No.
products here. Like we always say, we can dive a little bit deeper into each and everything if we want to. We've already done a few episodes on only flow and only lighting, and can do that with other things as well if people want it. But that's just a bit of a snapshot on the tech and what's available at the moment. And if you're sitting on the fence and unsure whether you want something at the moment, maybe we spoke something in there and you can. It's pushed you one way or the
Hopefully.
other. So we've got episode 26 coming up in 2 weeks. This episode, we're actually going to help out all the newbies.
Ooh.
It is a episode all about new hobbyists coming into the scene, whether they've come from freshwater, whether they're fresh, starting off with marine. We're going to really try and help them out with their journey in this hobby. So everything from setup to, moving into a more advanced hobbyist. So if
Nice.
you're new to this, and some of these episodes have been a little bit too intricate for you, we're not kind of speaking your language at the moment, this one's for you. We're going to dial it back a little bit and really kind of try and help out a little bit here. So for other guys that want the intricate episodes, probably not one for you, but we'll try and
You never know.
everything anyway.
Might be something you've missed.
Might be. But the fundamentals is realistically what we're going to touch on and help out
Nice.
with. So, yeah.
Nice.
As always, make sure you check out the socials. Mariah is still in the background, working her fingers to the bone, getting all kinds of juicy stuff on the socials. So make sure that, appreciate what she's doing for us and check in and throw a like down and even interact, ask some questions, give some feedback, all of that kind of stuff. We love hearing it. We like hearing that this is my favorite episode. I loved how you guys spoke about this. And even on the other end, episode 15, whatever it was, wasn't for me. do more like episode 16. It lets us know where we're at, right? Like we want to appeal to everyone. It can't just be the same thing regurgitated all the time. We're only going to appeal to one audience and lose the others. So
True.
got to be fun
Yeah.
for all. But we're at the end of the episode, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Thanks
bet.
again, Sam and Sam, for being with me on this one.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And I'll catch you both again in a couple of weeks for episode 26.
Right, see you,
You
mate.
bet, mate. We'll be there for the newbies.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Catch you all later. See you on the next one.
Bye.
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 Thanks for listening. Be sure to catch us again in a fortnight for the next episode. Find us on all our socials for more updates.